The object of Taxi Chronicles is to allow real riders with real stories, share their experience and enhance your life. So sit back and enjoy the journey. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have a photographer in the house. He's a young, aspiring photographer. He takes photos of billboards. Oh, not of billboards. His photo and his work on billboards are in and around London, so he's a true Londoner, and that we're just going to see what he has to say. Nice to have you here today.
Nice to meet you, Simon.
So do you want to introduce yourself? Who are you? What does your role entail?
My name is Francis, artist, photographer, director. I mainly just chat shit, take pictures of people and eat food, and I try to enjoy life as much as I can.
Okay. How long have you been a photographer, and why photography?
The why thing, there wasn't really a reason in terms of why I went professional. It snowballed. It's one of those things where one thing happens. I started taking pictures when I was 17. Surrounded by a few friends actually. And then I just continued and somebody paid me. And then I was like, okay, there's a bit of money in this. And at that time I was working as a youth worker and kind of look after my little brother and little sister. Once I realised there was some money in it, I was like, calm, let me see if there's more. It snowballed again, and then 2017 came along, and 2016 came along, and I had a chat with someone who gave me a lot of inspiration. And I realised, like, I've read all of these books, all of these self-help books, all of these books on making decisions and Think and Grow Rich, all of them. I was just like, you know what, it's time to really put in the action. So I quit my job, had in my notice in end of 2016, left February 2017.
What was the job?
3 months. I was a researcher at a charity.
Okay.
So I went from being one of those kids that were at risk of doing bad things, and then I became a volunteer, became a youth worker, and then went to uni, got qualifications, got a degree, and then I went back and started working as a researcher at the charity.
And what was your degree in?
Sociology.
Sociology?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a social person?
I like looking at people and understanding society, yeah, in a way.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, at least you know what you love. Now, you spoke about looking after your younger siblings.
Yeah.
I take it they all live with you?
Yeah, so live with me and with my mum as well.
Okay, that's nice. So how old are you now? 'Cause you seem to have done quite a bit.
I'm 28.
Okay.
So when you said I was young, I was like, thank you. So my little brother and sister do not allow me to call myself young anymore. So anytime somebody does, I appreciate that.
Okay, that's good. What have you found from your career in photography that you wish you knew when you had started?
That's a good question. I think how hard it is for things to really pop off, right? Because I think nearly any career that you go into, no matter what industry it is, it's all a business at the end of the day. So at the beginning when I went to freelance, I thought, okay, let me give myself 3 years to make any kind of profit. And then it took me 4 years. And now I'm all realizing it's relatively easy. It's just like the refining of your art is really important. And that time and the patience you need. A lot of photographers, a lot of artists, a lot of creators go into it thinking, yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm going to be doing this and then getting paid. But the reality is you got to grind it out. You got to refine your iron, so to speak. And you continue doing it. And it's never ending. I think sometimes young people just don't understand how never-ending this journey is, and there's echelons, and so you think you're somewhere and you realize there's a whole load of things. So it's like that kind of phrase of every level there's another devil kind of thing, right? And I think I wish I knew that more when I was younger. Just because of life experience before I went to freelance, and I knew it was going to be hard, but I didn't know how hard it was going to be and how important making connections. And sometimes you're making connections that with people that you don't really like, but you know that connection is going to lead you to the next one. And it's about swallowing your pride in that moment and going, okay, cool, I'm going to need to take this job for this price because it's going to make me be able to get another job for a better price. And I know a lot of I mentor a few young photographers, and I try to kind of teach them these things, and a lot of them, not a lot of them, a few of them are very much at the thing of like, oh man, it's too hard, Francis. I want to do something else. I need to get better paid money, better paid work. And I'm just like, I understand it. If you're gonna do that, do it. But I'm telling you, hold on, keep working, and there's something there.
So it will pay off in a long time.
Yeah.
When you spoke about refining, what do you mean exactly, and how?
So practically, it means as a photographer, I'm taking when you start out being as a photographer, it's that idea of the 10,000 hours. You dedicate 10,000 hours into whatever craft you do, and as a photographer, the more hours you take or you use up going in whether it's street photography or in the studio, the more hours you work on it, the better you become at doing some things quicker. So by the end of 10,000 hours, you're at the very least advocate at what you do. You're not a world-class person, but you're good. And so then you refine it more, understanding, okay, I prefer shooting people in natural light, but how do I shoot people in natural light that makes it feel really nice? How do I accentuate certain things about this person? What equipments can I bring in? Who do I shoot? What camera do I use? What lenses do I use? Refining it in that sense. So you become such a sharp minded person. There's a lot of philosophies that have that based on like Japanese way of moving, and there's stories around samurais and how long it will take them to get to a certain point of being skilled and how seriously they will take it. And I think as a photographer, as an artist, me, I take that shit really seriously. Now I do. Whereas before, I just did it for money and I was just taking pictures and getting money and doing events. Whereas now it's like, okay, I'm an artist and I take that stuff really seriously. And when I get into a shoot, even if it's for the most commercial thing in the world and no one's going to see it and I'm not going to put it on my portfolio, but it's the best job I've ever had or it's the best photo I've ever taken, because I do things in a certain way now that just makes it so much easier, so much quicker. And the photos come out so much better because I've taken that time to refine my art.
How you spoke about longevity and learning and perfecting your art.
Yeah.
How long would you say it took you till you felt like you are a real photographer?
I mean, I don't wanna. I feel like when people say that about you, that's something. Not in the sense that, and it's a bit of an ego. Everyone has an ego, 100%. But it's more about you are so locked into being better as a creator, as a craftsperson, that other people acknowledge the levels that you're reaching. So you're having conversations with new clients, and these clients are working on budgets that you haven't worked on before. That's a marker of like, okay, I'm in that level. And there's no real time in terms of like, I can't tell you it's going to take you 10 years and 10 years and you're there. It might take you 2 years, and some people might be lucky and take them a year. So it's not about that. It's more about understanding the patience that it's going to take to get somewhere. But a good marker is like the work that you start producing and how you feel about those jobs as well.
You spoke of how you mentor younger people.
Yeah.
What's your advice that you give to taking the best route to becoming a photographer to young people?
The first thing is asking anyone who you have that's a trusted adult to get you a camera, right? So that could be your parent, that could be your older sibling, that could be your teacher, that could be your guardian, whoever that person is. Ask them to get you a camera, whether that's a film camera or a digital camera, and you just start taking pictures, no matter what it's for. Start taking pictures, because the quickest way of getting anywhere is doing. And to get further, you just got to do it in your own time. And I think, once you get your first camera, you see it, you get well acquainted with that camera, you start taking pictures, you start taking better pictures, you start kind of checking online, and maybe you do some online courses, or you kind of go on YouTube and you check it out, and you just start learning in that way, and you realize, okay, maybe I need to get a different camera or a different lens, and you start developing that. And then at some point, somebody go, oh, whatever your name is, do you want to take pictures for this? And I'll pay you this. Once that starts happening, then you know, okay, I've reached this level where my work is relatively good enough for someone to pay me. If you're good enough to get paid by one person, there's hundreds of people out there potentially that will be able to pay you. And then it's about refining it again, getting a new camera, getting better, and then having some of it is also having the confidence to go, I think I'm good now because I've done this, that, and the other. I want to reach out to these clients and I'm going to charge them this amount of money. And then you improve it that way.
Is it acceptable to use a phone camera if you have an iPhone 13 or Samsung S22? And do you have to use an SLR?
Depends what you want. If you're just doing photography for fun, doesn't matter what camera you use. If you want to get paid and have a commercial work, I suggest getting SLR or a mirrorless camera where it's digital, and that way you can like just, the quality is better. There's some people that can make money off SLR and iPhone cameras, but if you really want to get there, I'd rather kind of suggest you have a mirrorless or DSLR.
Where can people find you?
Francis Augusto on Instagram.
Do you want to spell that?
Francis F-A, can't spell today, Francis Augusto, T for tomorrow.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Oh, thank you, man.
And to the audience out there, do not forget to check out our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where we interview people, about their experience of investing in Africa from around the world. We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day, as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.